A lot of people are going to be disappointed with this comic. What is good, everyone? It is Spirit of Paradox here, and welcome back to another video. And today we are reviewing and breaking down Ultimate Invasion issue number 3. But before we start, you guys know the deal. If you guys are fans of the Ultimate Universe, this is the channel you want to be on. I cover the Ultimate Universe and its upcoming stories such as Ultimate Invasion and Ultimate Universe this November, and I also do things surrounding comics, video games, and movies as well. But without further ado, let's start the review. If you are a fan of the original Ultimate Universe, I am sorry to tell you this, I cannot recommend this book to you. There is nothing in this comic that is actually from the Ultimate Universe except the maker and the artist who's drawing it. And I've got to admit, Mr. Hitch, like, your artwork is just not as good as Ultimates 1 and 2. Like, I had to go and reread those again, and I'm just sitting here like, 20 years later, how come the artwork looks better in Ultimates? Like, it's mad. But that's not all, people. If you wanted to see characters from the Ultimate Universe that you like, you're not getting it. In fact, you're not going to, and even if they do bring the character, like let's say Ultimate Hawkeye, he's not going to have anything related to Ultimate Hawkeye. If you even look at the characters who are in this issue, none of them look like their Ultimate counterparts. None of them act like their Ultimate Universe counterparts. So it's like, why is this called Ultimate Invasion when the Ultimate Universe isn't invading anything? In fact, there isn't an invasion at all. It's just, this whole issue was no action, just talking and just deviating as much as humanly possible from the source material that was created by Mark Millar and Brian Hitch. I am going to say this again. Marvel wanted to make their own continuity. They knew it wouldn't sell, and they put the name Ultimate on there to get money. There is very little to or anything to do with the Ultimate Universe. Only 3 things from the entire universe have shown up in this comic. 3 things. The Maker, Miles Morales, and the Ultimate Iron Man suit. Anything else, nothing resembles from the Ultimate Universe. Only the art style. And if you've pretty much gone this far, then you know I don't like this issue. Mr. Hickman, all you had to do was retcon Ultimates 3 and Ultimatum. That was it. That's all we asked for, but no, you wanted to take away Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Millar's work and claim it for yourself. I can't respect Hickman for doing this. I really can't. But anyway, let's start the video. We begin at Obadiah Stane's funeral in New York City. It's raining and many people have attended. We also see Howard and Tony Stark there as they get inside the limo to this cemetery. Tony says, "I'm sorry, Dad. This is just so terrible." It certainly is. As Howard takes a drink, he says, "Sleep well, old friend." "What are you going to do now?" "Tony, how would you feel if I told you to pack your bags because we're getting on a plane and running away to live a very quiet, very small, peaceful life?" "Sounds amazing, and I'd love to say yes, but we both know that's not going to happen, is it?" "No, it's not. I saw the attack on the feed, but then they cut all the coverage. It was a total blackout. Nothing for an entire day, and then you just showed up back home with Obadiah's body. What happened, Dad?" What happened in Latveria? Earth 6160, Chapter 3, Through the Looking Glass. Latveria Castle, 2 days ago, and we see Howard Stark looking out the window, but someone asks his name. Mr. Stark? Yes? I wanted to welcome you and to introduce myself. I am Emmanuel da Costa. I have to say, I've followed your work for years. Unfortunate that it happens under these circumstances, but it's a pleasure to meet you. And as we see, all of the heroes of Earth 6160 reside in the room. Thank you. Nice to meet you as well. Feeling a bit out of place? I recognize the names and some of the faces, but, you know, Obadiah normally handled all of these higher level get-togethers. I wasn't concerned, as I normally am pretty good in the room, but I have to admit, I'm finding this one a bit cold. I tried to introduce myself to Yoshida earlier, but his samurai cut me off. And when I mean by cut me off, I mean he literally showed me his blade. Ah, that's just protocol, my boy. One does not simply speak to the Sun Emperor when he is under the veil. When the mask comes off, you can converse with him like any other man. But until then, you should only communicate through his voice, the Viper, as we see him, the Viper, and Silver Samurai. Which, between you and me, I find a good reason to wait. You'll find some version of the same conversations dealing with the lords of the upper and lower kingdoms. I fucking hate this change. Ra speaks only when the sun is waxing, and is silent when it wanes. The inverse is true for the full moon of Khonshu. There goes Stephen Grant as Ultimate Moon Knight getting a second chance. Yeah, I loved Ultimate Moon Knight. From Spider-Man and in Ultimate Alliance 1, like I've always rocked the Ultimate suit in that game, and it's like, wow, now he's gone. So that's even something else I'm not getting from this story. Ah, here we go. Now here's a genuine fellow. Howard, this is Henry Duggery. Henry currently holds both the sword and might and the amulet of the right, granting him providence over the entirety of the European Union. Bonjour, Monsieur Stark. I can't speak French, so I can't read any of that, so if you're French, please translate that for me. Interesting is certainly a word for it, says Howard. The worst part of the comic, this new crappy Hulk. And Discord would be another. Any word yet on what the purpose or meaning was behind today's attack, says Hulk. I haven't heard a thing, nor have I, Monsieur Hulk. I just got here. Yes, I regret the events that have led you here, Mr. Stark. And while of course I find such random violence unacceptable, I cannot help but notice the intentional malice against the collective of ours implies a certain amount of planning and forethought. Behind that I suspect a desire to destabilize that all we have built, a blow against our protective, peaceful union. Oh my gosh, what have you done to my Hulk? Oh my gosh, what have you done to him? Should such mindless and pointless action prove to be the intent, well, that would make me quite angry. I'm never gonna forgive you for this, Hickman. Never. Magic bursts into the room, acting like a complete Karen, demanding answers, saying, "Okay, let's hear it. Who the hell attacked us today? And where in the same hell he calls home is the Maker? We need to get on with this, take action, and make whoever that was regret being born. The European guy said something European, so I don't know what you said, my apologies there. Definitely, but I'm honestly surprised you would meet with her and her companions. Excusez-moi, whatever do you mean? The Rasputins. They're the enemy. Did Obadiah not explain how any of this works to you? From time to time he would ask if I wanted to know how the sausage was made. It never really interested me. I see now maybe I should have listened. The Hulk says, I promise you, Mr. Stark, however it might appear to the world at large, there are no enemies in this room. What? I think you're forgetting the Eastern conflict and an event in the Pacific. Or what about the winter apocalypse? I could go on. Ask any man on the street, they would disagree, as would history and as would I. That is the world as you know it. Look around this place, and you will see that all the 7 major territories are represented. And though we have not fully circled this sun, when our time has come, each of our nations will play the same adversary just as the Rasputins do now. While inside our non-adversarial nations, we rally our citizens against the great evil, and all participate in whatever progenitor is required. Then, at the end of the generation, another territory, one that has spent the previous age becoming more belligerent and assumes the rogue state mantle, while the previous one engages in a generation of performative regret. And around it goes, focusing the citizens' eyes on the external threats and away from our internal failures of our own territory, maintaining the illusion of peace in an illusionary time of war. The Maker is a very pragmatic and visionary man. He believes that this is good because it works. It does work, so we accept it as the greater good. As Howard struggles to accept this information, he says, "My God, that might be the most insidious thing I've ever heard." And I've got to agree, this is really fucked up. Oh, wait until you hear whose turn it is next. What? Oh, we'll get to that. But first, you need to understand, there is a very good reason behind this. Care to fathom a guess? No, not really. The problem has been studied. The Maker did several iterations of experimental societies inside the city. He has shown us the results. Peace achieved, coerced or enforced, is never a successful long-term strategy. The truth is, humanity is incapable of accepting it. Hulk adds, and to be fair, not all of us agree with such universal assumptions, Mr. Stark. Believe that some people, mainly, even are capable of achieving that inner state of calm that presents peace. I have to believe it. I've devoted my life to it. Yeah, I don't see that going very well for him. Maybe we can get Ultimate Hulk back officially? Maybe? I doubt it at this point, we're 3/4 into the story. But most are incapable of maintaining a state of inner perpetuity. They can't handle the quiet. They can't let their actions be inaction. They can't maintain serenity with all the hysterical babbling that surrounds them. And Howard Stark looks disappointed. I wish it wasn't true. And then boom, the Maker walks into the room and says, but it is, and always has been. As the Maker has a sinister speech and smiles, he says, of course focusing on the shortcomings of Mankind's nature makes it easy for those in the room to gloss over the major reason why we do this. The little people hate us, and we giants rule the land. It's not how it used to be in ages gone by. Back then, it wouldn't have even mattered. The powerful would have just rolled over the powerless if need be. We could have built an empire on their bones if we wanted. But now, they are a collective, instantaneously aware of just how many of them they are, and how much uniformly hate people like us. Which is why it is necessary to give them something else to focus on, which we have gotten really good at doing. Howard says, I found all this insidious before you got here. That might have been a too kind of a word. As everyone in the room looks at him funny, the Maker says, choose whatever word you wish. It won't change who they are and who you are. Because you, Howard Stark, rich, brilliant, and powerful, are one of us. Doesn't feel that way, but I have one question. Of course, ask anything you want. So if this is all a well choreographed dance of yours is to keep the people happy, so we can do the more important work that giants do you mind telling me what exactly is the real work? Ah, Mr. Stark, now we're getting somewhere. In the next picture, we see Earth 6160's countries, and notice how all of them have different colors and different concentration of the color around the world. These different colors represent different factions that own the territory. I will get into this in my next deep dive video of this issue, but as of right now I want to just go and break down the story. I will get to this in another video in the future. In the next page, we see Howard and Tony Stark getting ready to go on a helicopter jet, and we see one of the people work there as they get on, and he says, 10 minutes back to the tower, sir. The jet is on standby. Thanks, says Howard. Tony looks over to his father. As Howard takes a drink, he looks back at his son. As the helicopter flies away, Tony asks him, so what are you going to do, Dad? Too many variables for a definitive answer, son. The scale of it, the appetite of these people, the inhumanity masquerading as cold logic, I just don't know. You got any bright ideas? I think you should fight them. Some people might say that's proving their point exact. And then there's a small chance I might lose. There's a right and a wrong, Dad. This is wrong. No, it's worse because you're mistaking right and wrong with good and evil. Do you really think Obadiah knew? I don't know. I'd like to pretend he didn't know, and he was the guy I always thought he was. I'll probably never get a real answer to that, and I'm not sure if I want one. And Tony looks at his dad, as Howard says, what? You should fight them and win. The helicopter lands, and Howard says, listen, son, I'm still processing what I've learned. I have some ideas, but I'm still getting to the edges of where I might start. The Immortus engine. So give your old man a couple of weeks before you start being disappointed in me, okay? Dad, you know I can help. Anthony, the point of exercise, the reason why I would even want to fight and win is so you can outlive us all. But I promise you, if I need you, I'll let you know. Okay, says Tony. And Dad? Yeah? Be careful. That's not how it works, son. careful doesn't come with winning, and gets into his jet and flies off. The city of tomorrow, 1 day ago, and we see the Maker escorting Howard in there, and he asks, "Where are we?" "You've never been inside the city, correct?" "You know I haven't." "Actually, I don't know that," as he smiles. But right now, I'd rather not dwell on my current shortcomings. As to where you are, this is the darkest of the deepest corner, or deepest section of the city. It's a prison, really. A place where some truly genius work is done. It's also where all of my nightmares reside. But for now, however, it will serve as your lab. For this is where you are going to build the Immortis engine. And now I want to introduce you to your assistant. I think you'll find him useful. "I work alone," Howard says. "No one works alone. We carry the ghosts of our successes and failures. Who we could have been, who we should have been, and they haunt us for all of our days. Howard Stark, I'd like you to meet Reed Richards. Some say he's the smartest man in the universe. And I have to say, I have to agree." And then we find out that Reed Richards of Earth 6160 is Dr. Doom, aka the Anti-Maker. 6160 Epilogue. All Tomorrow's Armies. In the next page we go to the far future, and we see this advanced spaceship in somewhere in time and space, but we see the Avenger clones that we saw from the previous issue, and where Captain America says, 4,000 years of careful genetic engineering was all for nothing. Despair and the end of all things was before us, but we did not yield. Now we have 6,000 years of better stock of righteous blood, and your armies have been replaced. How much longer must we wait, Master? How much longer can we? And then someone waves their hand and says, "Shh," with purple and green text. Ooh. Do you see how he hides in this game we play? I, ageless and immortal, in real time, my adversary, a creature of a temporal vault, a time thief if there ever was one. And what do we say to all pretenders? Their time will come. Tell me, my legions. They are infinite, they are immortal, they are ready to die. This pleases me. It eagers me. I have heard your cries. I have heard what you ask me. Kang, is it time? And with the full reveal of Kang, he says, "And so I tell you truly, the time is now." And this is where Ultimate Invasion issue number 3 concludes. That was Ultimate Invasion issue number 3. And now we know who that blacked out silhouette is on Ultimate Invasion issue number 4. It's Kang. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've lost a lot of interest in this story simply because it has very little to do with the actual Ultimate Universe. I'm hoping in the final issue we'll finally get something to do with Earth 1610 and Kang's basically going to try and repair it or something where we go back to the original Ultimate Universe, but I have a feeling that this world might not even be permanent. Like, I have a really big feeling because we got Reed Richards, who's gonna be the new Doctor Doom. Actually, they did that in that Kang story not too long ago, where like there was a pirate ship world where everyone was a pirate in that universe, and like Reed Richards drank the blood of Celestials and became Doctor Doom and stuff. Like, yeah, so Yeah, it's happening here, but they might do it well. I don't know. I don't really care anymore because all of my favorite characters from the Ultimate Universe aren't here anymore. So, Hickman, you've just made this 100 times harder on yourself, man. All he had to do was retcon Ultimates 3 and Ultimatum, and you could have just continued the story from there. But nope, you just had to take the name Ultimate and make your own universe and slap the name Ultimate on there. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you guys enjoy this issue? Did you not? You know what to do in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.